Mr. Chairman, I rise in support of this resolution, and I look at a landscape of America right now, and I think this resolution is needed more than it ever has. I think about, when our Constitution was formed and how divided our country was and how we had great civil debate about the forming of a federal system of government as we moved away from the Articles of Confederation. And this tool was put in the toolbox. And you recall that the great compromise of the Constitutional Convention, one of the greatest ones was the way that apportionment or representation was established in the United States Senate, giving each state 2 senators. And at the same time, the House was by population. That was an effort, a serious effort to balance the interests of the states. We had states that were more urbanized, more industrialized, and they were offset by larger states at the time, very large agrarian, big states with different interests. It was the different interests between these 2 kinds of states. It comes down today, the equivalent is what we might call a red state or a blue state, and trying to find the balance as we have a system of government whereby it's a partnership between states and the federal government, with states being an equal part of that partnership and each state being equal in many aspects of that partnership. The 2 equivalent things in our Constitution are, of course, the Senate, which I mentioned earlier. The second one is the Electoral College. The Electoral College preserves that even the small rural states, the reddest of the red, have some limited number of representation that weighs in and makes presidential campaigns and presidential contests winnable by this rural constituency that we belong to. We've seen that fall apart a little bit lately. And I think it's because we have not approached our differences between red and blue in a healthy manner. I think we're kind of falling into a trap. We're becoming redder while the rest of the nation is becoming bluer. We've watched our Congress and the Senate and the presidency all change to the other party. They're blue. We're red. We're reacting to that by becoming redder, by becoming more insular, by having things like, let's nullify federal laws, even though it's never been done. And the Supremacy Clause puts the kibosh on that. So I've even had people write me and talk about secession. Seriously, let's join the other red states and secede from the Union. Really? What this comes down to is we have to use our legal means to go at the red versus blue, rural versus urban, different historical differences that this country has had since the beginning, and use the tools that our founders gave us in the beginning to address that. All this fear, we are so afraid of, you just name it, vaccines, just it goes on and it's not relevant, but we are just so reactionary. What about having a thoughtful dialogue about how we work and balance this divide that has always been part of our country and will be as long as we hold together as one nation? And rest assured, Article 5 has been used before. Article 5 has plenty of safeguards. Do not let these fear mongers and emails you're getting from other states, they're wacko. And they want to have you adopt a nullification, secede from the Union, not enforce any federal laws. All of these things. No, let's use the tool that our founders gave us to sit down with our other states and decide on a future path of this country that restrains the federal government. It takes 2/3 of the states to issue a call. That call could be reversed at the very 11th hour if we don't like the way that it's coming together. But most importantly, the true safeguard is in the ratification. Suppose they go nuts at the convention. It's nothing we could live with. Fine, we don't ratify it. 25% of the states can deny ratification. That's an amazing power that the states hold. And as they work to erode the Electoral College, believe me, there are lots of people after that one. The fact that each state has 2 senators seems to not matter too much anymore because we are not in the majority there. Maybe that's our own fault, but we're there. This is the only tool we have that is legal, rational, and thoughtful. Please vote yes.
I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks were willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.